Welcome everybody to the first episode of Selling Cars As Is at Garani Corp Garage, and today we're going to show you Toyota Land Cruiser BJ73 1989. Let's start that I had this car for over a year and just been overwhelmed with work and projects, and I don't think I have time to start on it, and it's just been sitting, and it's time to pass it on somebody else who wants a little project to work on. And it's just a little bit more than I'd like to play with, but we'll walk around and we'll show you what it is about and the imperfections that it has, and we'll also talk about the positive sides of this automobile and how good the suspension, the engine, and all the other drivetrain components are. So starting with cosmetics, it has been repainted, and it's been repainted rather poorly. Some people might find it okay, some people might find it not okay. To me, and you've seen the cars that I sell here at Garani Corp, and the quality and attention to detail. To me, it's painted poorly. So it's been repainted, and honestly, this paint is okay for now. But again, it's to somebody's standards, and if you want something like a project, like what this automobile is, you want to start somewhere and build it up down the road. This is a perfect automobile. So it's been repainted. And it also does not have any rust. It has a couple of rust spots, but it doesn't have any like bad corrosion that you would find on some of them. Like the fenders are just corroding. They're still solid metal and all that. Some of them are just the fenders fall off and corrosion inside the flares. And I did include photographs of the inside the flare condition. The frame is good, it's not rotten, and again, it drives very well, and the four-wheel drive works, and air conditioning is actually cold on it. So all the main components work. Another key thing about this automobile is this interior is in very good shape, and as a starter project, you take it all apart, and then you prep it and you strip it and then do all the work, and then when you paint it, you're gonna end up with a good condition interior, which is important, because when interior is tore up, that kind of spoils the things badly. And this interior is in very, very good shape, and you're going to see the wheels were chrome at some point of time. They still are. They were chromed from the factory. That's a factory Toyota steel wheel. It rides on Nakang tires. They're not rotten, so it will make it to wherever you're coming from. And by talking about poor paint job, it has paint runs. You can see paint run here or paint run there, and things like that. So and that's what I mean. It was just taped up and sprayed, and at least it is more or less the same color, so you can expect that. But that's what it is. The side steps are not rotten, and I don't think they're stainless. I think they're chrome. I might be mistaken, but the reason I'm saying that because I've seen them rotten, and stainless doesn't turn orange. And you can see it's nice and clean. It's not going away yet. Another thing about this automobile, it's all there. All the parts on the car are still present, so when you do a restoration project, you can still reuse all the main parts. Like, for example, it's not missing the bumpers, it's not missing mud flaps, this is not broken. Mirrors are there, and they're power mirrors, and they work, and things like that. All the pieces are there for the restoration. Talking about it, this has also been painted white, painted rather quickly, and for example, like this rubber piece and the metal frame, in my opinion, will need to be replacing. It has been replaced on the other side, but whoever did this preparation didn't replace this one. So just in my opinion, something like this, and you can buy them, no problem at all. They're actually pretty cheap. So talking about lights, lights are not broken. Everything nice and clean. Note as well that the bumper is in good shape, front and the rear, actually both. Most of the time they're all dented, they messed up, they're scratched, and these ones are actually in pretty good shape. So let's pop the rear doors and talking about major components. For example, this frame right here is very prone to rusting, like this. When the vehicle is rusting, a Land Cruiser, this piece goes away, one of the first ones. You literally have holes in here. And this one is extra clean. I run my fingers inside the frame right now, and I do not feel anything but smooth surface. It does not have any rust. And that's something important. That's pretty much how you check them. So another piece, this piece is not gone yet. So is this one. The metal is still there, the frame is in good shape, and what we have is there is a little bit of rust starting to go on the metal, and if we put our finger behind it, I can feel a little bit of rust in here, and you can see it, but it's just starting pretty much, you know. And again, if I touch the frame, that's the most important part. If I touch the frame on the inside, it has no rust, and I can see the frame as well. It's nice and clean. But right here, it's starting to go, and it's possible it was driven through the snow. And you know, once a little bit of snow gets there, this one right here is fine. It's just a little bit right there. It's starting to go through. But the most important is this. Is that frame. You know, once you do a restoration, you take it all apart and you do it properly, you can always treat that and fix that and weld a little piece of metal in there. That's not a big deal. I'm just trying to be honest about the vehicle that you're going to get as is. So there is nothing worse when you're buying an automobile and you're coming there and it's a surprise, especially if you're coming from far away. I really hate that, and I don't like doing that to people, because I've been through that, and it's really bad experience. So solid closure, everything there. Again, bumper in aluminum. You can see it's not bad. It's solid. Everything's solid. The wheel is matching. The key works in the ignition. Light is not cracked. When we go on this side, what we're going to see is we have a little bit of rust popping through here on the fender, and touching it, interesting part about it, I don't feel rust on the inside. So I'm just touching the fender on the inside. I don't see any rust on it, and again, the flares are real good. There is no rust on the flares, and you'll see that in the picture as well. So it's just on the outside, I would say, or from this side. So something like this, it's a minor that would have to be fixed, so expect that there. Also, I can see some Bondo right here, so somebody was putting some Bondo, and touching it, I feel metal right here. So again, the rust probably began just from the edge and from the outer side. That's just what I see, or any Bondo I spot on the car. It is here, and it's not a lot, you know, because I've seen these cars where they're real rust buckets, you know, to the point that you look inside here and the flare, the inner flare, is simply gone. You know, there's a hole in there. So it's a solid car. So opening the door, we'll notice that there are no holes. There are no holes in the rockers. I don't see any Bondo in the rockers. They're also prone to pop up rust right here, all the way through the rockers. And as you notice, the interior is in actually good shape. So this is kind of a good thing about this automobile, that interior is in good shape, and everything works. The seats, all the levers, four-wheel drive, clutch is good, engine pull is actually very strong, And we're going to talk about engine now when we gonna go ahead, close this door, and you can hear it's nice and solid closure. It's not sagging on the hinges or any of that nature. So coming towards, again, we don't see any rust. I don't see any rust or bond on the front fender. You know, everything is nice and clean. Inside, no rust. Everything's clean. Metal, you can hear it, you know, it's not a bonded metal. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead, pop the hood, and we'll show you how it cranks up. Alright, so what we have here is a 3B engine. Pulls actually pretty good. For example, this piece, most of them has rust. I personally did not paint anything here. Maybe somebody else before me did, but it looks very clean. So is this pipe. Nice and clean. Everything works. It does not leak. It does not make any unnecessary noises or unwanted noises. I had this car for so long, so the battery died. You know, it was just sitting for over a year and I never had the chance to go start working on it, and just the batteries died. So these batteries are brand new. Air conditioning is cold on this car, so expect that, and also expect the engine to crank up instantly. Expect it to cool well, and all the gears shift well. Another good thing about it is that the suspension is tight. You know, it's not loose like some of them. It's the springs are saggy because it's normal for these vehicles, but it's not loose. You know, it doesn't have any loose shackle bushings. It doesn't go left and right, doesn't bounce around. Shocks are actually pretty good. The car doesn't bounce when driving on the road. I was coming here, you know, doing like 140 kilometers an hour, 70 miles, and it was doing strong, no problem at all. So let's go ahead and crank up this engine and you'll see how it cranks up. Let's go ahead and show you the amount of smoke that it produces. And note that it doesn't smoke on idle. It's very normal for a little bit of black smoke to come out, and that's alright. The other reason for it is because I added a little bit of fuel to the mixture. Because I felt it was not running like a 3B engine should, and now it runs really, really good. So it doesn't smoke, you crank up instantly, and it runs good. I'm going to go ahead and shut it off. The way they stall is like the whole car is shaking. That's normal for 3Bs. But so yeah, exhaust is who knows the Land Cruisers, they are held by this rubber hangers, and most of the time they come loose, so they are most likely loose on this car because sometimes I can hear it, you know, going against the metal. So expect to go ahead, throw it out, and put some new aluminized mandrel bent exhaust there. Probably with a lighter muffler as well. You want to throw away that heavy muffler anyway. So yeah, other than that, everything is there. We're not going to go ahead and do a test drive because on this one you're just gonna have to trust me. The car runs really good. Clutch is there. It's not catching right exactly where it's supposed to be. It goes through the gears nice. AC works. Four-wheel drive does work well. Suspension is in good shape. The car as is can make it to pretty much anywhere. I would not hesitate to jump on this car today and drive it anywhere. You know, I really would not. certain cars, you just have a feeling about them that they can make it pretty much anywhere. And then by anywhere, I mean I wouldn't hesitate to drive this car with just a basic oil maintenance and a couple of checkups. I wouldn't hesitate to drive anywhere around the world, actually. So on that one, we can all be sure this is a very solid car, excellent engine, and it's in the top shape. Oh, actually, talking about the kilometerage, the car has like 190,000 kilometers. So whatever that comes out to be, like some 140, something like that, 120 miles. I don't know, we have to calculate that, but surprisingly low mileage. One of the features that actually attracted me to it. Speedo works, everything works. The mileage indicator works, it clicks and all that. But Toyota, especially they all have kind of the jumping needle, and this particular one is jumping just a little bit more. And in fact, that I sold one of the cars recently to a customer, and he has a Toyota truck, Light Ace, and his one was fine. And at the point of time when he got it, he was driving it around, he started to jump as well. So this particular needle, when you drive, is kind of jumping. However, everything works. So there are places where you can send out your odometer and they can repair it, test it, and calibrate it. It's just something I'm going to have to disclose, that when you are driving this car, you wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't take you by surprise. So aside from that, the car is very solid, good off-roader, good choice engine, and the best of them all is the price is going to be right on this automobile. And we're going to go ahead and put it on the auction and see how it does. It's just it's time for this automobile, not sitting outside for almost 2 years, but to find a new proud owner who's going to love it and restore it and take care of this automobile as it should be taken care of by at least Garani Corp. We like to do nice things to cars here, or any other car enthusiasts. So the only thing that it needs is a new proud owner.